Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything you thought you knew about yourself was an illusion, that the identity you carry, the values, beliefs, and even emotions that define you were shaped by forces outside of your control. What if you are not who you think you are? What if the real you, the one buried beneath years of social conditioning and self deception, is something entirely different today? We are going to take a journey into the depths of the human psyche, guided by the revolutionary insights of Friedrich Nietzsche and the forbidden truths of psychology. By the end of this exploration, you will have uncovered shocking insights about your own mind, insights that society would rather you ignore. And the final revelation is the most powerful of all. Most people go through life trapped in a carefully crafted illusion. From childhood, we are told who we should be. We learn to behave in ways that earn approval and suppress the parts of ourselves that might provoke rejection. We mold ourselves to fit into our families, schools, and workplaces, believing that this is simply the way life is. But nature warned us that this kind of existence is not truly living. It is merely a form of unconscious repetition where people follow inherited values and behaviors without ever questioning them. Are you truly in control of your life, or are you simply playing a role that was assigned to you? Nietzsche's philosophy invites us to strip away these illusions and face the terrifying, liberating truth of who we really are. He spoke of the Ubermensch, the higher self, that emerges only when we have the courage to destroy false identities and create our own meaning. But this transformation is not easy. It requires an intense confrontation with the parts of ourselves that we have long ignored or denied. Consider the idea of the shadow, a concept later developed by Carl Jung but deeply rooted in Nietzsche's thinking. The shadow represents everything within us that we refuse to acknowledge: our suppressed desires, hidden fears, and unspoken thoughts. These are the parts of ourselves that we deem unacceptable, that we lock away in the unconscious so that we can function in society. But here's the dangerous part: ignoring the shadow does not make it disappear, it only makes it stronger. Have you ever found yourself saying or doing something completely out of character, something that even shocks you? Have you ever lashed out in anger, felt an irrational impulse, or been drawn to something is destructive? That is your shadow revealing itself. It is the part of you that refuses to be ignored, the part that will erupt in unexpected ways if you do not acknowledge and integrate it. Nature understood this long before modern psychology. He warned that those who refuse to confront their own darkness are doomed to be controlled by it. The person who denies their inner chaos will eventually become its victim. Think about the people who try to be excessively good, those who suppress their own desires, avoid conflict, and always seek approval. They are the ones who at some point explode with rage or fall into deep despair. The more we suppress our darker nature, the more it festers beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to break free. Society tells us to reject our inner chaos. We are taught to be polite, to conform, to suppress our aggression, ambition, and primal instincts. But Nietzsche argued that these instincts are not inherently evil. In fact, they are part of what makes us powerful. The danger is not in their existence, but in our refusal to acknowledge them. When we deny our true nature, we create a split within ourselves. We present one version of ourselves to the world while secretly battling another version within. This internal conflict drains us, leading to anxiety, dissatisfaction, and even self destruction. So, what is the way forward? Nietzsche's answer was radical self awareness. To become who we truly are, we must be willing to look into the abyss of our own minds without fear. We must be willing to question everything we have been taught about right and wrong, about success and failure, about ourselves and the world. But we won't. This path is not for the weak, it demands courage, the kind of courage that few possess. Those who walk this path will experience discomfort, uncertainty, and even moments of existential crisis. But those who endure will emerge transformed. As we continue this journey, we will uncover three powerful principles that will forever change the way you see yourself. The last one is the most shocking of all. And once you grasp it, you will never see the world the same way again. Most people are terrified of the truth, not the truth about the world, but the truth about themselves. They spend their lives crafting a carefully controlled identity, filtering their thoughts and behaviors to fit into a version of reality that feels safe. But nature warned us, man is something that shall be overcome. The person you believe yourself to be is not your final form. It is a fragile construction, one that must be broken if you wish to discover the depths of who you truly are. But here is where the fear sets in. To destroy false identity means to step into the unknown. It means stripping away every comforting illusion, every borrowed belief, and standing alone in the vast, unsettling void of your own consciousness. And this is precisely why most people never do it. They choose comfort over truth, routine over transformation. They turn away from the abyss out of fear that they will lose themselves. But what if losing yourself is the only way to finally find yourself? Consider the role of suffering in self discovery. Nature saw suffering not as something to be avoided, but as a necessary force for transformation. He wrote, to live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. The discomfort you feel when questioning your identity, when confronting painful truths about yourself, is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that you are awakening. But most people do not want to awaken. They prefer to remain in the dream, wrapped in the comfort of social validation and familiar habits. They would rather be controlled by external forces than take responsibility for creating their own identity. This is what nature called the herd mentality, a life dictated by fear, by submission to societal expectations, by an unwillingness to think beyond what is safe and familiar. The true individual, the one who seeks real self knowledge, must be willing to detach from the herd. This does not mean rejecting society entirely, but rather refusing to let it dictate the course of your life. It means stepping outside the roles you have been assigned: son, daughter, friend, employee, citizen, and asking yourself, who am I beyond all of this? Most people never ask this question. They move through life as if following a script written by someone else, never realizing that they have the power to rewrite it. They believe they are free, but in reality, they are trapped by invisible chains of expectation, fear, and conformity. And here lies one of the most dangerous illusions of all, the belief that you already know yourself. If you were to strip away your name, your job, your nationality, and every external label, what would be left? Can you truly define yourself without relying on the structures that society has placed around you? Or would you find that beneath it all, you're just